Okay, now let's begin expressions and prints. In Python, you can use an expression as a statement. To that, to that is on a line by itself. But because the result of the expression won't be saved, it usually makes sense to do so only if the expression does something useful as a side effect. So fundamentally in Python, expressions are commonly used as statements in only two situations. The first one is for calls to functions and methods. Some functions and methods do lots of work without returning a value. Such functions are sometimes called procedures in other languages because they don't return values that you might be interested in retaining. You can call these functions with expression statements. Now, these are all some of the examples of expression statements. One is function calls, method calls, and printing variables in the interactive interpreter. I'll just show it to you while we do hands-on. Because there, just type one. It is an object. Okay, one is an object, int object. It is an expression. Basically, fundamentally, it is an expression. Typing one in an interactive interpreter and typing a string object is an expression. So now when you execute, basically it is an expression statement in totality. Okay, and printing operations, that is also expression statement, and yield is in another expression statement. Okay, now the second way is printing in 3.0. So that's the Python 3.0 print function is the another way. So here printing in 3.0 uses standard function call syntax rather than a special statement form because it provides a special operation modes with keyword arguments. This form is both more general and supports future enhancements better. So let's see the construction of a print object, the construction of print function. So here, if you see here, the first argument it takes is object. It takes n number of objects, and after that you put comma, and you can either go with the default separator, which is space, or else you can define your own separator, and after that you can have end. So this either by default you go by line. Okay, or if you don't want to go by line and if you just want to put all objects that you have given inside the print function side by side, just remove this backslash n character, backslash n character here, and then just uh, just put an empty space inside it. So this is how our print function works, and this is how we can modify a bit about. So this built-in function prints the textual representation of one or more objects separated by the string separator and followed by the string and to the stream file. And moreover, file specifies the file, standard stream, or the other file like object to which the text will be sent. It defaults to the sys.standout standard output stream if not passed. Let's just open the Jupyter notebook and do a bit of coding about that, then it will be much more clearer. Okay, so I'll just open the command prompt first. So now if you see this part, printing a variable in the interactive interpreter. Before printing a variable, I'll say, so now 4 is a literal. Okay, it is an expression to generate an int object. See, you got the 4. And when I say Shiva, sorry, it is also an expression to generate a string object. So basically these things we can call it as a expression statements. Okay, or in another way, chant is equals to Hare Krishna. So in this case, when I call chant, so this is also an expression statement. Okay, now we'll go into our expression statement Jupyter notebook, and let's do some hands-on. Now we'll begin with the function calls as usual, because that's what we have here. Now length, len, is an inbuilt function, and by using this, see here you have an open and closed parenthesis. Inside we have an object. Now, so basically this whatever is there inside is an expression, and this complete thing is an expression. So now we are using this expression as a statement by calling a function. So that's why we are calling it as an expression statement. So it's a length of string object. We got 7 characters, and we have method calls. Method calls are nothing but these are also type specific functions. These are specific to certain objects only. For example, lower is specific to string object only, but here also we are calling it. And we have one more object, sorry, we have one more similar kind of expression statement, that is yield. So this is also we call it as expression statement. So here, but with yield, we yield returns a generator, not a value. So that's what we can see here. Then we are moving into print function. You see, now basically we'll see help of the print. So help on print, this is the constructor. This is how the print is being constructed in Python. So these are values. In other way we can say it as objects, and after that you have a separator. By default this separator is a space, a single space, and then here end. Where do you want to end your first value? So by default, so each value takes a separate line. Okay, so this can be changed, and you can put all values in a single line. And this is file system dot standard out. So this is where so sys, so by default it goes here. Sys is our uh, module, and then sys standard out is a standard output standard output variable. So here, sorry, not variable, standard output method or attribute in another way. So and flush, to completely flush it, that by default we put it false. So these things are not much used in general. Okay, so here you can see a file like object defaults to the current sys standard output stream, and then a string inserted between values default is a space, and a string appended after the last value default a new line, and flush whether to forcibly flush the stream or not. So then let's take one example, and we'll print that. So this is, as there is nothing inside, but still it prints a blank line, because by default end is escape sequence forward backward slash end. So that's the reason still it prints an empty line, a blank line. So then we want to print three objects, and remaining all will be defaults, because we can print any number of values, and after that you will have a your defaults. Whether you want to use it or not, it is all up to you. So you can print any number of objects. See, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma. Then now we want to suppress that separator. So for that what we'll do, this is our separator normally. Now we'll put our custom separator. So here our custom separator, in spite of that space, I used 3 asterisk marks. Let's see, I'll put in spite of that, what I'll do is, and this is how, let's see. Okay, see how nice it looks, brilliant. So you can do this kind of modifications, you can play around, that is all up to you. Now we want to suppress that line break. It's called line break. We want to suppress that line break. Here, in spite of using that, we'll use this, and here we are suppressing it using this exclamation mark. Now you got everything in a single line, or else I'll okay. In this case, what will happen is new line. Then what we have is next is printing the hard way. So this is in spite of using a print function, because ultimately it goes to the system, and then it uses the standout module in it, that std out module in it, and then write method in it. So we can directly write using the import library, that's import sys, and in that sys std out module, and from that we'll use write method, and I'll say I'll say uh, hello Python. That's it. See, this is how we do. So with this, we reached the end of our video on expression statements. That's the part two of module three. Okay, so keep watching the videos and keep spreading the word about my videos so that everybody can get benefit out of it, and then just keep liking it and keep subscribing it. I'll see you on our next video.